So are we recording, Laura?
We are recording. We're live, Barbara.
Yay, our first show, or whatever you want to call
Hello,
it.
everybody who's out there watching us. Barbara and I decided to just meet and have a chat. We're both coaches. I'm Laura Diaz with In Harmony Coaching. And Barbara, introduce yourself.
Sure. So I'm Barbara Murphy Shannon. And well, for years, I was really hating my job. I worked at a 9-to-5 job, hating my job, until I discovered this one key mindset shift that really changed my life and changed my whole career. I ended up going back to school and getting my master's in psychology. I'm now a certified money breakthrough business coach, as well as Laura. That's how we met. And now I go on to teach women, entrepreneurs, how to break through their life and business with this mindset shift. And now I'm loving my life. So that's me.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, I have a similar story. For about 34 years, I was working for the state of California, which I enjoyed my job as a disability analyst, and then later became a team manager. However, there was something missing there. And so when I was getting close to the age of 60, I said to myself, it is time for me to leave and do something else. I don't know what that is right now, but I know that this is the job that I don't want to continue because there is something else I need to do for my own well-being and my own fulfillment. I don't know what that is. And the interesting thing is that I decided to hire a life coach to help me explore what else is next for me. And then I realized after working with my life coach for about 8 months that I think life coaching is my next step because I enjoy working with people. In my past work in being a team manager, and I have a master's in counseling and vocational rehab, I said it all seems to kind of go together, working with people, but in a different way. So I got involved in different programs with coaching and also with money breakthrough business coaching with you, Barbara. And, that's how we met. And so I'm really enjoying, the life coaching and the business coaching that I'm doing with my business. It feels right to me. It feels that this is the way that is going to be best for me to serve, because a part of me is coming out. A part of me is getting more creative on ways that I can serve the population that I'm working with right now.
That's great, Laura. I mean, I think that's why we came together, because our paths are very similar, and then we ended up in the same coaching program, and we both really want to go out there and help as many women as we can so that they feel good about what they're doing in life, as well as having, freedom and financial freedom, but also, time freedom to be with their family and do the things that they want to do. So I have a question for you, Laura. So what would you say is your biggest accomplishment, thinking of your business now and coaching, that you would like to share with us?
I think my biggest accomplishment for me has been to realize what is important for me and go for it. Even though I'm an entrepreneur with my business, just the decision that I said yes to myself, I'm going to move into life coaching and business coaching, not knowing how it's going to be, just that I said yes to myself, because before that, I was always very cautious about saying something yes to a new venture. I needed to have a guaranteed, I needed some kind of safety measures. And with this, I didn't need all these safety measures. It just felt right. And because of that, I feel that was a big accomplishment to me to step over that and say, yes, let's go explore on this and let's move on this. To me, that's a big accomplishment for, and a shift in a mindset for me in doing that.
Right. So what gave you the confidence to do that?
It's really interesting because the confidence with that was no specific thing. it was me trusting myself, because when I felt an intuitive pull for me to say, it's time to leave your job, which was, almost 34 years with the state of California, something telling me leave your job with all these benefits and all these things, right? And I
Mhm.
said, how can I leave my job, which is safe, secure, benefits, all these things? But something was inside me nudging that it's time to go. There's something else. And so me listening to that intuitive pull by hiring a life coach and deciding to move there, the thing that really gave me the confidence, because I trust my intuition. I'm a big person in trusting my intuition. When I went to visit the coaching school, which was one of the school branches was present here in San Diego, when I went to observe the coaches that were presently being trained, and many of us on the outer edges could sit down and watch the coaches being trained for half a day, I knew when the class started. At that moment, I knew intuitively, because I had a strong feeling within me that said, this is it. When I had that, this is it, your home feeling,
Mhm.
that's all I needed.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all I needed. Barbara, I didn't even have the down payment to make money, to make a down payment for this training. I didn't.
Right.
But I said yes, because I found the way, on how to make the payments. I found a way on how to find a good loan to get involved with this training. But you
Right.
know what really pushed me to say yes? Just that feeling, trusting that I was going to find the resources.
Right. And I ended up hiring a life coach as well before I made the big jump. And that was a huge awakening for me as well, because one, I didn't even know what a life coach did. You don't grow up with life coaches. I think our children's will. But that was really eye-opening for me. One, that someone could bring out so much out of me that I couldn't get out of myself.
Yeah.
You can solve your own problems. You think you can, work it out in your head, but you don't ask yourself the tough questions. We avoid them instead. We think,
Yeah, I hear you.
or we get to the, point where we're like, well, a fixed mindset and saying, oh, I guess that's not in it for me. I guess I'm not going to get that. I guess I won't have a husband. I guess I won't have children. I guess, you just start giving up because you don't know the questions to ask yourself. And coaching that's the beauty of it. It's those powerful questions and bringing out so much in people. And until you've walked that path, it's really hard to know what life coaching or business coaching is. So anyone watching, I recommend, if you haven't coached or been coached at all, Laura and I will gladly give you a complimentary coaching session just so you can experience it, because it's really life-changing. It really is.
Absolutely. I know it was life-changing for me to hire a life coach, because she helped me explore different parts of myself that I wasn't even questioning or looking into. And it really makes a difference for somebody else outside of you to really come and help you really sort things out. Because, myself, and maybe yourself too, Barbara, is I was thinking that I have to figure it all out, that I should take care of myself, that I don't need any help, that I should be able to figure this out. And I think that's a hang up that not only that I had to get over it, but that many of people that I work with also have this mindset that I should be able to take care of this. Nobody else should, mind my own business. So,
Right, right. And sometimes I know for me, that's the way I was brought up too. Like, figure it out, kid. It wasn't like, oh no, why don't you go find a mentor, Barbara? Or why don't, I never got that type of information. Of course, my parents were helpful and supported me, but if they didn't understand some of the things that I was trying to do, because they had never done it before, like being an entrepreneur, going to college, doing different things. I went around the world for a year. My mom thought I was crazy. Now she's like, all she does is brag about it. But yeah, so I mean, if I had, it's like when you've experienced coaching, and then you're like, oh my goodness, I wish I had known this for not only myself, but for my children. Like, I would have been such better mom. as far as I got a little quirk in there. Because I would have asked better questions as opposed to just assuming they were trying to do something wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now I coach them all the time, which drives them crazy, but it's okay.
I bet it drives them crazy.
Well, they know what I'm doing now, and I'm like, well, what would you like to do different? They're like, Mom, just tell me what to do. And I'm like, nope, I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Yeah, we have a rule in my family that I am not a coach with the family. So we have a rule, because sometimes I want to ask questions like that, but I said, no, I won't do that. It'll get us in trouble, get me in trouble.
I can't help myself. And my husband even says, like, he was having a dilemma the other day, and I go, well, I could coach you. He goes, well, you always do. Like, okay. But you do have to walk a fine line when it's family members, because again, one of our I guess, I don't know what's the best way to put this, but one of the things we do as a coach is that we will also ask the questions you don't want to hear, which might put you in a little bit of like defensive mode. And when it's not a family member who's, would say something rude back to you or something, someone that you're coaching would be like, oh, I never thought of that. Or, oh,
yeah,
we have to make you think about things, because it is our job to challenge our clients as well. I mean, otherwise we're not really doing them the service. They came to us for a reason. They're trying to solve a problem. If we're trying to be like a friend and just like tell them, oh, you're, all the nice things, which what friends should do. Friends shouldn't be coaching if they don't know how to coach.
Yeah.
But that's our job. It's to challenge our clients so that they can achieve the results of why they're hired us in the first place, right?
Absolutely. You know what I did about that? When I started coaching, what I do with my clients, if we get involved in a contract, is we go over the contract together. And one of the things that I tell them or I share with them is that coaching at times is going to be uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Coaching at times that I may come across to you like I am confronting you on something because of the question I may be asking you, but I am not in that mindset of confronting you. I'm being a stand for you and wanting you to move forward where you told me where you want to go. So there's going to be times that I'm going to hold you accountable to where you're going. And the types of questions may get you defensive, but I want to let you know ahead of time that that's going to happen. And I'm not intending for you to get upset or for you to get defensive, but that could happen. It's very human nature. So I want to let you know that that could happen. And you may decide not to like me for a while, but after a while, you'll be okay.
Right. And that's
you'll be okay. You'll realize that I have the best intentions in working with you and really finding a way to move you and help you shift to another way of looking at things as far as finding a solution where you want to go.
Right. Yeah. And that's part of coaching too, is to be coachable. I mean, yes. if the client isn't willing to be coached, be coachable, knowing that there will be times things are going to be uncomfortable, but that's part of it. And all we're asking is to like take that uncomfortableness, live with it for a little bit, think about it, ponder on it, and see where it takes you. Because sometimes it's the things that challenge us the most that give us the biggest result.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the things about coaching, for me, it has really put me in a place of continual learning, because I'm, even though I've been trained in coaching in other areas, I still crave learning. There's so much out there to learn about human life, about, just interactions, relationships, success, what gets in the way, like right now I'm doing a 30-day Get Started challenge. And what I'm finding out that many of the people in the group have a hard time stating a specific goal.
Mm.
So I took the information I have from the SMART principle that many of us have learned on how to create a specific goal. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow. I sent an email providing some information about the SMART goal and examples, so that way they can really start working on their goal. Because I told them, if you don't have a specific goal, then you won't know how to measure your progress, or how to move and realize that you're creating small wins every week. Because
Right.
one of the challenges with a goal is that you want to feel that you are gaining momentum, that you are creating small wins for you as
Right.
you consistently engage in this goal.
Right. One way I try to help my clients with that, Laura, which might work for you, is I'll say, well, say you're trying to plan a trip, right? Your goal is to go to San Diego. The goal can't be, I'm going to go to California. So when you get to California, you're going to be like, okay, where's San Diego? Oh, so it has to be, and then where are you going to stay? And what are you going to eat? And all the specifics that go into planning a trip is the same thing for a life goal or a business goal. So you have to get really specific as far as like what the end result is. And then it has to be measurable, like you said. So if someone says, I want to make more money, that's
Mm-hmm.
not specific enough. How much money do you actually want to make? And then we could reverse engineer that to how much you need to make every month, then every week, then every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what really creates the momentum is when you have a time base. You say, by this time, I want to make so much. By this time, I want to make sure that I do so much. So it puts you in a place that you are really moving yourself in,
Mhm.
in achieving, what do you need to do to get there? Because
Right.
these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. What do I need? What actions do I need to make sure that I create these resources for the income,
Right.
or whatever the steps are for you to achieve your plan or your goal.
Right. And then on the other side is to not do the things that aren't going to get you there. To be able to
Right.
say no to the things that are distracting you and taking your time away from the actual goal that you're trying to achieve. That's another big one that a lot of people struggle with, me included. I love shiny objects.
And
You know,
I'm with you
hard
like
not-
that. I've found myself getting, taken by shiny objects now and then, but I noticed that when I see a shiny object, I said, okay, I'm not going to be seduced this time. I said, I'm going to hold off and just give myself 48 hours. If I'm still interested in 48 hours, maybe, but I said, I'm not going to take it right away.
Yeah. And I've been doing the same. I've been much more disciplined. And I mean, there's so many launches with different people and coaches that, everything looks so amazing because they're so good at their sales page and their video.
Right.
Just like, oh, am I missing out? What is it? FOMO, fear of missing out. I mean, I have to actually talk to my coach or my husband and say, okay, is this a good idea or not? I know I can't make it myself because, and this is why you need a coach. I go, because I'm got caught up in all the hype and, like you said, get seduced, and it could be anywhere from $5,000 to $500, which it doesn't matter if it's not going to help me. Like something 5,000, if it's going to help me, do something amazing in my life, that's worth it. It's 500. I'm not going to. Also, this is the other thing. Like, I'll look at something that's not that expensive. I'm like, well, it's not that expensive, so And then I'm always mad because you get what you pay for, right?
Yeah.
I wasted my money. So yeah, no, I think that's another reason to have a coach, because I do always talk to my coach now when I think about spending money on either another program or anything that's to do with my business. He's a business coach. Because you need to run it by somebody else sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get caught up in it. And they are so good right now. Like
I hear you. I've seen so many, introductions of, different challenges, different webinars, different short programs. But I said, you know what? I already invested in a business coach that's helping me with strategies and different. This past week, he had a workshop on writing a book in a day, an ebook.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, I never thought about an ebook. So I engaged in the workshop. And you know what? I got really involved with it because he was very simple on how to get started with the title, working title. Doesn't have to be the type of working title, suggestions on how to create a working title. And then
Right.
from there, when you create an ebook, don't worry, there has to be X number. It says, go for about 3 or 4 paragraphs on each chapter. And then he had us write a list, pretend on a working title, 21 ways to, whatever that is, topic that you're familiar with. So I
Right.
did on confidence. And he says, make a list on 21 topics, doesn't have to be, but that's a working topic. What area do you want to cover?
Right.
And then he would just take a break throughout the day, say, okay, we're taking an hour and see how many words you're going to type or how many chapters you're going to cover. And I covered, even though I had 2 appointments that day, which I wasn't fully engaged in the whole day workshop, I was able to cover 4 chapters, an introduction. So
Nice.
that really motivated me to finish it.
Oh, good.
So he's going to work with me to make sure that I have it finished by December. So my goal for that ebook is to have 10 chapters by the end of September. Right now I have 4 chapters. Yesterday I did another chapter. I'm on completed chapter 5. That's
Nice.
draft chapters, of course.
You want to tell us what your ebook's about?
Well, my ebook is about 21 ways to increase your self-confidence.
Nice.
Because self-confidence has been a focus with my coaching and helping women increase their self-confidence so they take actions. And my story is based on, how I overcame the obstacle of my low self-confidence. What did I do to build my own self-confidence? And it's a matter of making a choice. Where do you want to go?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have different stories that I'm sharing throughout the book. What did I do in high school? What did I do, when I was in college? What did I do when I first got my full-time job? What did I do when I realized that I needed to be able to speak freely and in front of groups at ease instead of hiding myself? So I got involved with Toastmasters.
Right.
And so I overcame the fear of public speaking, and how that achievement itself opened up different branches for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's all these stories about, engaging yourself and opening yourself to different things, because you never know how you need to grow yourself before you start moving in different areas for yourself. So
Right.
I'm going to talk about different things, different ways, and some of them are bigger than others, but all of them are relevant.
Well, when we get to the letter C, we can do confidence on our little show
Oh,
here.
that's a good idea.
Because the first one's going to be on abundance. We're going to start with the letter A of the alphabet. And so that will be next week with Laura and I. I don't know how much time we have left, Laura. You know, you're tracking it. We're just trying to stay on 30 minutes so that everybody can get some good info and go.
Yeah, we are 22 minutes, so we got 3 more minutes before 5 till.
All right, perfect, great. So do you have a question for me? Because that was part of it.
Yeah, let me ask you, what really got you interested in making a shift towards coaching for yourself? Just working as a coach.
Well, like I said, when I introduced myself, that I was working for, I had been an entrepreneur multiple times prior. But when I started to think about coaching, I was working at a job that I liked my job. I did like my job because I interacted with people. It was at a spa and a beautiful environment. But the whole 9 to 5 thing just was not me. I'm an entrepreneur. I'll work 24/7, no problem when I'm into something I'm passionate about. But I'd be looking at the clock and go, oh my God, I want to go home.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, you start questioning, like, okay, I'm not getting any younger, and I'm sitting here, I'm not happy. I'm watching the clock. I'm watching the clock of my life go. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I need to do something. So I started doing some soul searching. That's when I hired the coach, a life coach, to talk to me about like what it is that I would like to do. They always say like, well, what do people come and ask you for? What are they always coming to you? I'm like, they're always coming to me for advice, or for me to listen to them, because I'm a really good listener.
Yeah.
And part of it is listening. Coaching is part of it is being listened to, because you're holding space for a person, which most people never get that. Most of us never get that. And if you are talking to someone, they're already thinking about what they're going to say. They're not listening to you, or they're just, oh, now everybody's on their phones or whatever. I digress that way. But anyway, so it was just not happy where I was. And then discovering life coaching through my life coach. And I've always loved psychology. I find it very interesting, behavioral psychology, why we do the things we do and how we change and how we don't change. And like my fixed mindset and growth mindset. And if people aren't familiar with that, was created by Carol DeWick. She's a Stanford psychologist. And what she has said is a fixed mindset is someone that thinks that this is just the way they are. There's no way to change themselves. Where a growth mindset is, I can do it. I'm just not doing it yet. So it's the power of yet. And I just was actually talking to a girlfriend about this. And we were golfing together. And she's like, oh, I can't get the drive. I go, yet. Like, just always say yet. At the end of anything you say, I can't. Because it's a yet. And the power of yet is amazing, not only for adults, but for children. Because when a child goes, oh, I can't do math. I'm terrible at math. Yet. You're not you can't do math yet. But you, as you, Laura, has said, you put your mind to something, you study, you take the actions that you need to take, you're going to be able to achieve it. And just my side note on that one is that I had to take statistics in grad school, and I had never taken a math class other than accounting up to that point. So I got a B because I just watched videos. This is a challenge. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. Sometimes I didn't even understand what I was doing, but I knew which steps to take. I knew what to put on the paper, but I was like, I cried a lot. I definitely cried a lot because it was tough. But once you do something like that, you achieve your goal. It gives you more confidence and you feel, okay, what's next? Bring it on.
That's right. I remember taking a statistics class also in my master's program. It wasn't easy. And I'm going, oh my God, why did I get myself involved? But, I found a way. But it's not an easy course. Mm-mm. Yeah. No. Well, we got a couple of minutes before we're ending our time. And I'm glad that we were able to get together. I know that next time we're going to start having conversations, and we decided that we're going to hold conversations starting from the alphabet. So next week, we're going to start with the letter A. And so we agreed, Barbara and I agreed, that we're going to talk on the topic about abundance.
Right.
So that's going to be an interesting conversation.
And then also, I'm going to put my website, and Laura can too.
Where are you putting that?
Chat, so that if anybody wants to see it and want to get to it, they can go and see it in the chat, because I believe the chat gets recorded too, right, Laura?
Yes, as far as I understand.
Okay.
Let me.
If not, it's Barbara. B-A-R-B-A-R-A, Murphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y, Shannon, S-H-A-N-N-O-N.com. Little bit of Irish in me, just a little.
Yeah, so it's my business. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt?
Okay. And then why don't you just verbally say your website too, Laura?
My website is www.inharmonycoaching. And my email, if you want to send me a contact, is laura@inharmonycoaching.com.
Nice. And my email is barbara@barbaramurphyshannon.com. I know that's a long one. If you want to reach out to either one of us, if you like this conversation, if there's something that you'd like us to talk about, we're open to that. We're coaches. We want, of course, the main focus to be around coaching and business and life and mindset, confidence, all the things that most of us have struggled sometime in life with, but we're here to share with you. Just want to share and offer you tips and advice and anything we can do to help.
Absolutely. We're here, holding a conversation with many of you. And if you have a suggestion, as Barbara said, on one of the alphabets, on a topic that you want to hear more about, send us an email, send us a message.
Right, right. Well, this has been great, Laura. I think we did really well for our first little
I think so
video
too.
show.
I want to say, hope to see all of you another time. I'm going to, stop the recording in a second.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Do you want to stop recording, Cloud?